Welcome to the critical analysis and reintroduction of the Eat Well, Live Young program. The purpose of this presentation is to address any misleading or false information in the original infographic, provide you with scientific evidence so that you know what this kind of DNA testing can and cannot tell you. This will help you as a consumer make an informed choice on this type of product in the future. Let's start by looking at bias and conflict of interest. I would like to question whether the two reviews are actually credible reviews. The first review is from the founder, so of course he's going to have good things to say about his business. The second review is from a 32-year-old, and seeing as reducing the signs of aging is the biggest push point on this infographic, I'd like to question whether a 32-year-old is the best person to be reviewing and providing evidence about reducing the signs of aging. Next, I'd like to look at language. They've used the word guarantee or guaranteed a lot. Guarantee to leave you feeling rejuvenated, revitalized, and relaxed. You'll have the energy you once had as a 20-something, lost about 13 kilos. Is this something that they can guarantee for everyone? Not really. Everyone's very individual. Things like rejuvenation, revitalize, relax, that's not really a tangible something they can guarantee. I'd like to point out there is a sentence here that says shorter telomeres are associated with longevity. It's actually correct that shorter telomeres are associated with diminished longevity. So I just wanted to correct that one for you. Credibility. There's no references included on the presentation of the infographic. They mentioned groundbreaking research, but what study? Was it peer-reviewed? Peer-reviewed is really important because it means experts within the same field have scrutinised the work to ensure it's of a high standard. So at the moment, we don't know whether it has been peer-reviewed and if it is of a high standard. I'd also question whether they're registered with the two main bodies for DNA testing in Australia, the National Association of Testing Authorities and Therapeutic Goods Administration. There's no mention of their registration on the infographic. I'd also like to question who's providing the 24/7 online support. Is it doctors? Is it someone that's actually qualified to be giving that kind of advice? Scientific accuracy. They did a reasonably good job at explaining what telomeres are, but they didn't go into much detail on how it's associated with the aging process, or exactly how what we eat affects our telomere length. There's a couple of recent studies that actually contradict the information they've provided in the infographic. A study of 217 elderly individuals showed promising telomerase activity, which can affect telomere length by following the Mediterranean diet, nothing to do with genetic testing. Gardner and his colleagues studied 609 overweight or obese subjects in 2018, and at the end of a 12-month period found that none of their genomic or metabolic tests were good predictors of a subject's success on one diet or another, or which diet was better for whom. Just something to think about. So reintroducing the Eat Well, Live Young program. Let's talk about telomere length and aging. Yes, longer telomeres possibly can reduce effects of aging as telomere shortening produces defects in the regenerative capacity of tissues and activates a DNA damage response which is known to induce the dividing of cells and the death of cells, plus genomic instability. Telomere length and nutrition. Something to note about this type of genetic testing. Genetic testing is usually used to measure hundreds of thousands of genetic variants. However, nutrigenomic testing like this one are perhaps only measuring 3 to 8 SNPs compared to over 700,000 in an ancestry-related test would. Just something to keep in mind before you go ahead with the test. There have been recent studies to show particular foods that can assist with telomere lengthening. Antioxidant-rich foods, seeds, nuts, legumes, seaweeds, coffee, and dietary fibre intake from cereals and whole grains. So if the meal plans provided by Eat Well, Live Young include these foods, perhaps they can help with the aging process. A couple of things to note about genetic testing. Any type of direct-to-consumer genetic testing has the risk of being misunderstood, which could have a large impact on health management for any individuals that take part and alter their behaviour based on the results. Genetic discrimination through insurance and employment is also a possibility, although hasn't been a large problem in Australia yet. So just a couple of things to note. Overall, could it give you some interesting or valid points about your genetic information? Possibly, depending on how many genetic variants they are actually testing. Is it guaranteed to reverse the signs of aging, make you feel rejuvenated, revitalized, and relaxed? No, sorry, not something we can guarantee. There is research to suggest telomerase activity and therefore telomere lengthening can be promoted with reducing or managing stress, healthy lifestyle factors like good nutrition, adequate exercise, and sleep, all important for the aging process.